The feeling around the F1 world is that finally, just maybe, we could be getting a new F1 team in the near future, and the most likely candidates have been Andretti Racing, who have made it very clear that they won't stop until they are on the racing track. Well, as hard as they may try, it looks like their entry to F1 just got a whole lot harder, but not only for them, but any team that wants to join the grid. Stick around to find out why it just got harder to enter F1, and stay until the end to find out what Toto Wolff thinks Mercedes need to become competitive again. F1 is going through a boom period following its acquisition by Liberty Media, with the runaway success of Netflix docuseries Drive to Survive bringing a new wave of fans to the sport. When coupled with more races and increased demand for hosting Grand Prix from around the world, and alongside spending controls making teams roundly profitable, interest in entering F1 is high. Such is the interest in F1 that anyone that loves racing wants a team on the grid. The demand for new entries has been so high that the FIA, the sport's governing body, launched an application process for new teams seeking to join Formula 1 in 2025, 2026, when new engine regulations take effect, or 2027. Yep, that's correct. Until now, there wasn't actually a process for new teams to enter the F1 grid. Instead, a team would have to buy out another team, with some teams being sold for as little as $1. Now, there's not only one team in Andretti wanting to join the sport, but if you listen to the reports, there are several teams looking to join the group. Several current teams have already rebuffed big money offers from major motorsport players. Both Red Bull Racing and McLaren turned down overtures from Porsche and Audi respectively in the last 12 months alone. Sauber rejected a buyout bid from Michael Andretti in late 2021 before selling a majority stake to Audi. Such is the demand in the last 2 years, the teams have argued that the original $200 million agreed upon 2 years ago is just not sufficient and needs to be rethought, something Stefano Domenicali agreed with. Speaking to F1 podcast Beyond the Grid, Domenicali suggested the argument was justified based on the size of purchase offers being made for current constructors. If you look at what has happened in such a short term, 2 years ago when the new Concord agreement was signed, was the talk about what is the value of a team that has come into Formula 1. There was a number put on the Concord agreement that was $200 million, which seemed unreachable because there were teams in the past that were sold for just £1. Now the market is offering almost billions to team and they are refusing that. Can you imagine it? That gives you the perspective of what we are building as an ecosystem, said Stefano. Well, 1 billion seems a lot, and we're not going to lie, we do not believe Stefano. As big as F1 has grown, 1 billion seems insane. I guess maybe for Red Bull or Mercedes, but still, $1 billion is crazy money. Do you guys think an F1 team is worth $1 billion? As big as Andretti Racing is, we don't think they have $1 billion to throw at an F1 team. They do, however, have the official process to enter the F1 world, and according to Andretti, it's going well with the team looking to get on the grid by 2025. Speaking to Sky Sports F1's Martin Brundle on the grid at the Miami Grand Prix, Andretti confirmed his prospective team is continuing to target a 2025 entry. That's our goal, Andretti said. We're working on it. We have that process that we're in the middle of with the FIA. We're submitting our paperwork this week and hopefully getting an answer in the middle of July, so we're making good progress. I guess the biggest question will then be, do they get a 2025 entry? That will leave them a lot of work to do to get the car up to speed. F1 cars can't just be bought off the shelf at Walmart or Tesco, other shops are available. They need to be designed to perfection. After all, any team that wants to enter F1 should be competitive. We don't need another backmarker. Andretti had a response about them having a lot of work to do to get the car ready. We're already doing it. It's already happening. We're building a team as we speak. It would be awesome to have the Andretti name back in F1. That and Cadillac together would be awesome. Now, we don't want to be Debbie Downers, but to get a team fully operating in a year looks to us to be a tall order. And in particular, lest we forget, there's a little matter of the F1 rules changing again from 2026. Seems like an awful lot of effort to then have to change everything the year after joining. The critical point or the criticism aimed at Andretti has been if the team will bring value and how the prize pot will be dilated, something the CEO of F1 is particularly persistent on, with Stefano being asked recently what he thought about the new entries into the sport, and the F1 CEO had this to say. No, I don't think so, Domenicali stated when asked outright if he would like to see more than 20 cars on the grid. I mean, personally, that's a personal opinion. As I said, I need to say that because it's something that, if you have a good show, 20 cars are more than enough. You see, if you have 2 cars or 2 drivers fighting, the level of attention is mega. So if you already have 2 teams fighting, That means 4 cars. It's just incredible. So can you imagine 20 cars? So 10 teams at the level where there is a competition on track? It would be impressive. So I would say let's wait and see. We're not going to lie, that doesn't sound like good news for Andretti. If the head of F1 is not exactly keen on more teams, then what hope do they have to get on the track now? Well, it's not all doom and gloom for Andretti, as the F1 boss didn't say it was a closed door, even though reading his statement may feel like a slight rejection by Stefano. He went on to say that this will be a discussion for the future. My no is not against someone who wants to come in. I need to clarify that because otherwise it seems that I want to be a protectionist. That's not the case. I want to see the right one. And I also need to respect the ones that we have invested in Formula One in the last period because we forget too quickly the respect, and now everyone wants to jump in on the coach that's moving very fast. But we need to be prudent. We need to take that as a decision. That's what I'm saying, Domenicali said. This did get us thinking about what could be the correct number of teams and if F1 could really expand. I mean, just thinking about Monaco, which is already hard to overtake, surely adding in new teams would just be the end of the illustrious Monaco Grand Prix. Both Martin Brundle and Karun Chandhok believe that there should be 12 teams on the grid. Martin believes that it would allow for more stories and characters, and Karun believes that it would afford more significant opportunities for the younger drivers coming through. What do you think is the correct number of teams? Let us know in the comments. Regardless of what the correct number of teams needs to be, the ability to compete is another story. Such as the drive in F1 that teams will almost do anything to win, with Toto Wolff recently saying in the past the team would just throw money at the problem in order to win, and that's exactly what he feels the team needs to do now. I would give up every profit just to win on track, which for a normal business owner may sound crazy, but it's how we're calibrated, he said. Now, the cost cap has changed everything in our environment, so we're not allowed to spend above a certain amount, but Mercedes, we have dominated for a long time. We won 8 consecutive championships, and now Red Bull is just doing a better job. It's meritocracy. Best engineering wins. As long as you respect the rules, the technical, the sporting, and the financial rules, we just need to stretch ourselves and beat them, said Toto Wolff. I mean, they could just break the rules as Red Bull did, not face any real repercussions for it either, and they may possibly be dominant once again. Alright, calm it down in the comments, get off of that fishing hook, we are just looking for a reaction. But all the talk coming out of the Mercedes camp is that they had to spend a significant amount of the budget on their new design, and they will be running on a tightrope for the rest of the season. They have also said that Canada won't be a good race for them, but we never read too much into it as we know Mercedes never show their genuine hand. With Aston Martin bringing upgrades to the Canadian Grand Prix, it will be interesting to see if they can take the fight to Red Bull. Either way, Mercedes is going to struggle to find any pace capable of victory unless they can pull something huge out of the hat.